Something that I've had to come to terms with, being completely blind for the past 5.5 years now, and partially blind for going on almost 13 years. And that's this, that God is never going to heal me. He is not going to reverse the blindness. He's not going to take it away. He's not going to restore my sight. Now, I know some people might hear that and say, well, wait, God can do anything and, don't give up hope and this and that. Look, there are plenty of people around the world that are battling all sorts of different sickness, disease, all of it, that have way more, and I'm talking way more faith in me, are way better Christians than me, and God doesn't heal them. And I think that as believers, and this, some may agree with this, some may not, that's okay. Because I never used to think this until now. Because I'm not saying that I haven't been healed of things before in the past. I have. However, I do believe that God picks and chooses who he wants to heal. Now, for those reasons, I don't know. Because could he heal everybody all at once? Absolutely. Absolutely. But will he? No. He won't. And in the prime years of my life, I have realized, because I know I always say I've lost so much time. I've lost the prime years of my life that I'll never get back. And, as somebody who, when I was originally going through the process of losing my vision, and we got to that point with treatments, and by the way, I have a whole video where I talk about my glaucoma diagnosis and how I run my whole channel and all of that in ministry. If you guys haven't seen it, there's always a link to that video in the description of all the videos that I do. So if you haven't seen it and you're new, check it out. Again, it's in the description here on this video. But, what I was realizing as I was initially going through the process and people were praying, I had people all over praying for me, for God to restore my sight. And at the time, I still had partial vision. But what happened was that I ended up losing then all of my vision. So I got worse. All the people praying and all the people, and guys, I went to all of the healing conferences and I'll admit, I got caught up in all of it, the Kenneth Copelands of the world and all of the prosperity gospel preachers and everything else like this. I was basically seeking out these healing ministers, these big name evangelists, because I thought that, if I can just get into the building with them, I'll be healed, right? I even went to a Billy Burke convention like 5 years ago. Yeah, that didn't go over so well. And I can remember, I was there and there was somebody else and I had been completely blind at this time for only a few months. And there was another blind person that was there, and I guess supposedly this girl got healed, and I did not. And I remember the first meeting that I went to, Billy Burke had prayed over me, and nothing happened. Didn't get my sight back. All these other people in the church were supposedly receiving their miracles. And look, I'll be honest with you. I know it's going to sound messed up to say, but I think a lot of those people are actors, because I've seen it. There's so much that I've looked into since then that I've just gained a lot of knowledge in about how these so-called healing evangelists really, run their ministries. And it's how they get people to buy their books and how they get them to buy their DVDs and everything else like that when they see things like this. So they bring in people who have, who are posing as having all sorts of different medical issues. So I came back the next day and I went back up, to get prayer again, because maybe the second time will work. And I remember Billy Burke told me, he's like, "Oh, you look a little dejected there. Are you a little disappointed that it didn't happen to you the night before?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, you're the healing man, right? I mean, geez, don't have me do a review of your ministry after this service is over, because you ain't going to get a good one. Are you on Yelp? I mean, come on." I didn't say that, but that's what I thought. So he prayed over me again. And yet again, nothing happened. Nothing. Remember, this is where people are, have leg injuries and wheelchairs, or getting up, running out of the chair and running around the church and this and that. Okay. I'm not saying that can't happen. I'm not saying people can't be radically transformed and healed by a miracle. So I don't want people to think that I'm discounting that. I'm not. I've had prayers answered. I've had healings. But again, this goes back to, all of us as a whole. God does pick and choose who he wants to heal. And at some point, you have to ask yourself, all right, should I continue to get my hopes up for something that's just not going to happen? For whatever reason, God has chose that for me, I am not worth getting my sight back. Now, will I get it back in heaven? Yes. But we're not there yet. We're still on earth. And I was reminded of this. And I'm not saying God told me this. I don't ever come on here and say I get prophecies. I don't do that. But Christ was put on this earth to do what? To suffer, right? He died on the cross for our sins. He preached the word up until the time of his death. So I believe that for many of us as Christians, we are too to suffer. And Jesus said that we would in the word. And it's not this glorious lifestyle of riches and everything else like that the prosperity preachers always tell you about when they're gloating about their $21 million jets, their mansions and all this, all the other money that they're always, flaunting, the Kenneth Copelands, the Jesse Duplanis's of the world. They have painted Christianity in that light, that's the way it's supposed to be. The whole health and wealth message and this and that, and, give us a bunch more money and God will bring you everything that you want. It's such a lie. And I used to buy into it. I know many of you out there did as well. But it's just not true. It's just not true. Now, I want to say this because I have continuously prayed. People can say all that they want about me, whatever. You want to, call me names, whatever. But I have prayed continuously ever since I was first diagnosed with glaucoma for God to heal me. Every day, praying over my eyes, God restore me, all, okay? But I'm wondering now if I should stop. Because I think God already knows the need. So why am I essentially beating a dead horse? Every day to consistently pray for the same thing over and over and over again, and nothing happens. If he wanted to do it, he would have done it by now. I truly believe that. If he wanted to do it by now, he would have. Why he chooses, because I've always said, if he were to heal me, what a testimony that would be, right? It's an incurable disease. There is nothing to reverse the blindness. There's nothing to reverse. Basically, my optic nerves are dead, and I talk about that in that video in my description. And there's nothing that you can do to revive them. You can't re-stimulate them. You can't bring them back. So it's incurable. That's what doctors have told me. There's nothing that they can do. So, again, am I just beating a dead horse with the praying over and over and over again and nothing happens? People were praying. We were all praying when I still had some sight, and I lost all of it. I was even told by doctors that I would not lose all my sight because we had such a grip on it. We had such a handle on everything with other treatments and this and that. Eye drops, laser treatments, this and that. So maybe it's time to stop praying for God to restore my sight. And why, again, am I going to pray for something that he's not going to do? He's chose, again, for whatever reason, not to do it. And again, it goes back to what I was saying about Christians suffering, as did Christ. Because people always say this, that, well, don't worry, as I hear this, well, don't worry, you'll have your sight in heaven. You'll have your sight, you'll have everything. We'll all have it, that's a given. We'll have everything in heaven. And the more I think about it, are we really And again, some may disagree with this. Are we really meant to be happy on this earth? Are we really? Because we're not in a bubble as a Christian. I used to think that a long time ago, that if you're saved, if you're born again, boom, you're in this bubble. Nothing can come against you. Couldn't be further from the truth. Are we as Christians supposed to, and I'm just getting stuff off my chest here. I mean, if you guys don't want to hear that, that's fine. I understand. But are we as Christians, because I'm real. I mean, I wear my heart on my sleeve. Those of you that do watch me consistently, you know that. I do these videos from time to time. But as Christians, are we meant to just go through life and struggle as Christ did? I mean, I'll be honest with you. The average Christian that I talk to got a lot of struggle. A lot. And I've talked to many of you on here. And I won't spill your personal business. Many of you have, reached out to me. You've confided in me about what you're going through in your own life. All right? And you're not the prosperity gospel type of, crowd. I know that for a fact. I mean, you ain't giving Kenneth Copeland $10,000 a month and all these other dudes. No, the average Christian that I talk to is suffering, is going through hardship every single day. And I don't really see a point where, us as the average Christian is just going to break out and all of a sudden we're just going to, everything's going to be fine. We're all going to be healed. We're all going to have everything that we need. All the, every resource, whatever it is that you need. I just don't see that. I don't truly think that was God's design for us. Again, we were meant to suffer and to just go through life, I believe, this way. Unfortunately. Not that I want that, but it just seems that it's the way that it is. So yeah, I don't believe that God will heal me of this. I don't. And maybe I should stop praying for it and pray for something else, because, not that I'm going to stop praying, because that's not what I'm saying here. I pray in general anyway for all sorts of different things and people, situations, but I'm referring more to myself in this particular instance when it comes to the blindness. So that's my thoughts. And, people, and they always do this, people will always try to tell me how to feel, how to live, tell me that I don't have a right to complain, if you want to say that, or voice my concern over my own blindness, even though they haven't lived a day, lived one day in my shoes, which I always find so funny when people do that. They think that they can tell you how to live and how to be, and they know nothing of your struggle. And it's comical to me that people could be so ignorant to do something like that, when if they were in my position, they would be, like I said, if they woke up blind, let's just say, they would cower in the corner crying because they wouldn't know what to do. They wouldn't know what to do. How are they going to use their phones? How are they going to get around their house? How are they going to, go about their daily lives? They wouldn't know what to do. And it would be those same people that would be calling me, and they would be asking me what to do. Yet those same people were telling me, stop complaining, and that's not what God wants for you, or whatever it is. But then they would be in the corner crying their eyes out, swearing, profanity coming out every other word, because then it happens to them. See, everybody is a solid Christian when everything's going quote unquote right for them. But the second that what hits the fan, what do? You know what they do. Tuck their tail between their legs, go in the corner, and then they go completely against what they were saying the day before. I would just love to see the look on those people's faces. I know I can't see, but you know what I mean. If it were to happen to them, put yourself in my shoes for 1 second. And I know I have people here that are sub to me. You're blind as well, so I know you get it. So I'm not talking to you guys. You get it. You get the struggle. But I'm talking about for everybody else who's not. Be very careful about dictating to others how they should be, what they should say, what they should not say when you don't bear that same cross. Because the same thing could happen to you. And I can almost guarantee that you would not be the same way that you were. You would not be this joyful person 24/7. You would completely just turn into something different. You'd fall into depression. Just all sorts of things. You would blame God for what happened, saying stuff like, well, I've been perfectly healthy my whole life. All of a sudden now I can't see. How did this happen? You know what? Glaucoma took me by surprise. I didn't know it was happening either. I thought it was something that could only happen to older people. That's not the case. I know a lot about it now. More so than I did 13 years ago, that's for sure. Just something to think about. Again, I know God's chosen. He's not going to heal me. So I know I'm stuck like this until heaven. But those are just my thoughts. If you want to chime in, feel free to do so. And as always, if you enjoy my content, my ministry, and you want to help support me financially, there are a couple ways you can do that. One, you can just simply click the super thanks button down below on this video here. That's how you can throw me a tip with a one-time donation of any amount, which is always very easy to do here from the main video page. Or you guys can join my Patreon. Sign up for as little as $5 a month, patreon.com/NotBySightNews. And when you guys join, you're getting all the videos on Patreon before they ever hit my main YouTube channel. Because, YT plays the games and they don't push the notifications and all that. You don't got to worry about that with Patreon. Okay, you always are notified of videos, so you never miss a single one. You can leave all your comments there, completely censorship-free, and you can even send me DMs as well if you want to get a hold of me directly. So again, I want to thank everybody. If you're already a part of the Patreon, thank you so much. And for any of you that are thinking about signing up, thank you as well. It is all a tremendous blessing. I'll be back with more. Thank you guys again so much for watching. God bless each and every single one of you, and I'll talk with you soon.